Let's talk about what's going on the Republican side. The Republicans also had primaries yesterday, actually more primaries than the Democrats had. I'll talk to you first about which primaries we had and who won. You will notice that on the March 8th Republican primaries, we saw Donald Trump win in Hawaii with Ted Cruz in second place, Rubio and Kasich not really factors. Ted Cruz handily winning Idaho with Donald Trump in second place, Rubio and Kasich barely factors. In Michigan, Donald Trump won, both Cruz and Kasich with strong showings. Marco Rubio at 9%, not really a factor. And in Mississippi, Donald Trump defeating Ted Cruz 47-36, Kasich at 9, and Marco Rubio, again, just not a factor. What do you think, Lewis, about this whole Rubio thing? On the one hand, we want him to stay in because we want this thing to be contested as long as possible. But he really can't seem to put together any significant wins here.
No, he's doing nothing, and he doesn't have any books to sell. So I wish I could hear what people are telling him.
Yeah.
It seems like people are telling him to stay in it.
Some people saying stay in, some people saying get out, because if you lose your home state of Florida next Tuesday, March 15th, that would be really, really bad for you. So a lot of questions around Marco Rubio's political future. How does the delegate count look on the Republican side? Well, Donald Trump is ahead, but not by that much, although by slightly more than prior to yesterday's primaries. Donald Trump now has 461 delegates. That gets him 37% of the way to the required 1,237 delegates. Ted Cruz has 360 delegates. This gets him 29% of the way to the number required to secure the Republican nomination. And Marco Rubio, he's still there. He has 154 delegates, getting him 12% of the way to the required 1,237 threshold. The change in the lead prior to yesterday's primaries, Donald Trump was leading Ted Cruz by 7 percentage points in terms of the delegate counts, and he is now leading by 8.2 percentage points. So Donald Trump, Lewis, extending his lead in terms of the delegate math slightly after yesterday's 4 primaries. Republican insiders are taking Donald Trump more and more seriously. Donald Trump yesterday mentioning that Paul Ryan called him, and they had a very, very nice conversation. Paul Ryan seemed to, for months, refuse to even accept that Donald Trump was a real candidate. Things do seem to be shifting in terms of the Republican insiders' approach to Trump.
Yeah, and so are you safely saying now that you may have been incorrect when you said Donald Trump would not be the nominee?
I've been saying for a while that I may have been incorrect when I said Donald Trump would not be the nominee, but I am not ready to concede that yet, and I maintain that. Go ahead.
That was really a compliment to the American people. Really. I mean, you were complimenting the American people when you said you didn't think Donald Trump would be the nominee.
I didn't think Republican voters would be so stupid as to not realize the laughingstock that the Republican primary has become with Donald Trump as the leader. Yesterday at a press conference, Donald Trump, or his post-election victory speech, call it what you want to, he just displayed and talked about Trump bottled water, Trump steaks, Trump magazine, and maybe one other thing. It's a laughingstock. I mean, it is truly disturbing and an indictment of the Republican Party voters. They don't care, though. They email me. They say, David, you just don't want to admit that Trump is going to make America great again. I think you may be suffering from the effects of the Dunning-Kruger effect because you don't even realize the laughingstock that Donald Trump is internationally. And these Republicans seem to be just loving it like they're really angering the liberals. They're doing something good and rebellious. You're making the country an even bigger laughingstock than it was under George W. Bush.
Maybe they ate some bad Trump steaks,
Yeah.
But you have to admit, we are both very curious to see what a Donald Trump presidency would be like. Are you not curious to see that?
I'm curious in the way that you can't help but look at a car crash on the highway, right? I mean, that's the type of curiosity that I'm experiencing.
Well, I think it's that way for many Americans, even people who support Donald Trump. I think, well, they may not compare it to a car crash, but I think they just want to see what happens when you put someone like that in the White House.
The online news world is getting pretty cluttered with lots of nonsense. There's the so-called news sites that rewrite news articles, and then there's the websites we all know that we just can't trust. So lately, I've been reading Smash Pipe, which is an online magazine whose goal is to surprise, amuse, and tell readers things they don't already know on a wide range of topics and current events and culture. SmashPipe is less interested in trending topics than in what's actually going on, and SmashPipe has no ads whatsoever other than the reader-generated classified ad section, and they never will. SmashPipe is what happens when you, on a bad day, stub your toe on the miseries and mysteries of life. Check it out at